Hello to all my friends out there. Well, it's actually raining here. In fact, we had a little hail and a little lightning and thunder. So, it's been going on about 10 minutes. So like I got in my car and I drove out here, so I could get a lot of rain on my car because I'm very cheap. And I rarely take my car to the car wash. I just wipe it down. And so when it rains like this, what I like to do is get it good and wet, and then I spray it off at the car wash. So I do that about 2 or 3 times a year. So I was excited that it was raining. So yesterday I was in my car and I had those little cans of chili, beans and weenies, and I thought I'm going to buy about a week's worth of those. I'll show you what I buy when I do it. You can eat them, for a cheap meal in the house or in the car. And today I have this Frito dip, and I have some chips. I'm being bad on my diet. I still haven't eaten this 20-cent granola bar, and I have fruit. So, I don't have to buy any food while I'm out. So this video is about preparing for 10 years, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, because I think we're at the beginning of a depression. Have you noticed, like, some of these people, they're like gleeful when they tell us dark days are ahead of us? Or another thing is, they seem like a dictator sometimes. And I'm going, oh boy. And then the next thing they're wrapped up in some kind of scandal. And, it just goes on and on. You're going, what is going on here? So in my life, I had occasion to be around very wealthy people and then very poor type people as well. I was in these environments. And so, first of all, there's not that many very wealthy people, but I got this book on the Mona Lisa, and I was noticing the Mona Lisa's hands. And in Leonardo da Vinci's books, in his paintings, the hands were very interesting because they look like large infants' hands. They almost look like baby hands, which lends an interest to the paintings. But very, very wealthy people have very their hands are very undamaged. Oh no. Look. Yes. Right in the middle of the video too. Anyway, so I noticed on very wealthy hands, I mean, not even a writing bump, you guys. Hairdressers can't make that claim. So there's like this widening gap between the wealthy and the poor. And that is an indication of a depression. That's what happens during depressions. Poor people hit. And so what I'm seeing is cracks in the communities, because in close proximity, there's 3 or 4. And what I'm seeing is signs of poverty, just like you would have signs of very wealthy type people. You would have signs of very, when I worked in salons, the salon would seem nice until I went into the back room, the dispensary where we kept the products. And it was really, really scrappy. And in some of the shops I worked, it was the same thing. If you're charging a larger price, you shouldn't really have a very crappy dispensary. But a lot of them do. And now I'm noticing this in merchants, are the restrooms clean with hot and cold running water? And are there covers for the toilets? Yes, no. No, in a lot of these places that are supposed to be respectable. Okay, on the checkers, you heard Kroger and Best Buy, they just laid the checkers off, and the groundwork has been laid for this with these kiosks. Also, last night, I lost it. I'm standing there and I'm waiting and waiting, and it's so dangerous in line. And I get up there, and the girl, is like a bug for a donation. And I go, no begging. I'm sick of it. Every time, I don't care where you go. It's bad enough that there's people with no money, but just this continuous begging for donations every damn place you go at the checkout. And then she goes, press no. And I'm thinking, I don't want to press the frickin' screen. That's why I'm paying you in cash. And unnecessary waiting. That's what got me crabby. But, this continuous begging everywhere you go is annoying. And so then I was watching China to try and figure out if they're experiencing food shortage. I'm sure they are. And it's being suppressed now. We don't hear anything about China. Why is that? But there was mention that someone had nothing in the house except pickles and peanuts. And I tried to imagine, I used to work Asian shops. Some of them are very stable financially and some of them aren't. But I tried to imagine Asians with no rice, because they used to buy it by the big bags, they eat rice all the time. And so I think there is food shortage. And okay, we did have the rain and the snow and everything and cold weather in Texas, but really that news was a little bit suppressed, really, I thought. And so now what I want to do is prepare for 10 years, the duration of depression, or the duration of the grand solar minimum. I think that's what we're seeing. Not 1 year, not 2 years. And you might be thinking, well, how could you do that? Well, you would create a working stockpile. You know how I spent $10 and I bought the 10 dinners, and pretty soon I'm going to be buying 10 lunches, and I'm going to be buying $10 of non-food items. Nothing drastic. I don't think that really works. And so you're always buying a little more than you're using. And so what I've been doing is I've been eating my freezer down. And last night I needed to, and this is like one of the cracks. Last night I was very late, and I was cleaning my refrigerator out, with like food, because I save everything, stuff that needed to be thrown out, bags and bags. And on like the third or fourth trip, there was a young man, 2 of them, and they were collecting cans and, dumpster diving. And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, dumpster diving for real. Like, this was not like me messing around. Ha ha ha, I found 10 paper towels. No, this is like down and dirty. And although it is a lot smarter to get those cans, they had bags of stuff. So that is a crack. And I was watching a YouTube video, and he lived in LA, and he was describing how there was number 1 and number 2 outside of his dwelling, and garbage and people camped out. And I typed in there, you have got to move. I moved. It's very expensive, but I just waited, and when the opportunity arose, I moved. You've got to move out of these bad areas. It is not getting better. We're preparing for a famine. I had the bad feeling that people might starve, literally starve, in America. That wouldn't happen. Really? How about freezing? How about downplaying the extent of the problems? Okay, so now let's talk about water. So my idea was to run to Walmart and buy 2 $25 coolers and fill them with water or ice. But I was thinking, how about the tall plastic kitchen trash cans that are about $10, and you should be able to get 50 gallons of water between, or 2 large trash cans, and you know, filling them with water, you know, just going, okay. I heard a couple of the channels say we used about 30 gallons of water, not counting the stuff they boiled. So 50 gallons of water could get you, at least you could evacuate. The best thing is to evacuate when these, you know, there are some areas that you've just got to evacuate. You cannot live in and amongst comfortably severe poverty. We're finding, look, my car is getting nice and clean. This is very uncommon. I've done videos in my car, you know, when was the last time we had rain? I hope we get some hail, not too strong. Okay, so now, what are we gonna do? We're gonna go, oh no, no. We're gonna take steps now as best we can. If we can't take steps, you know, we're gonna move in that direction. Okay, so number 1, soup and milk. I mean, soup and bread. Pretty much if you have bread, you know, last night I had a lot of bread that I had bought for 25 cents, 50 cents. I had muffins, I had all kinds of stuff. And those were some of the stuff I purged because I want to fill my freezer full of meat. And, you know, probably some family got it. And I was thinking, you're not going to starve if you have bread. I mean, down through the generations, a pot of soup, hot soup, and bread. Number 2, bread and gravy. Now, my family was big for that, and I happen to love it, like biscuits, sausage biscuits and gravy. Sandwiches. For years, I would eat a small hamburger for lunch. That's a sandwich. Macaroni and cheese. You know, if you stockpile Velveeta cheese and you have a little flour so you can make bread. During the first pandemic, there was no yeast. I bought a lot just to make sure this never happens. Beans, 5 beans, like chili. Like beans and ham. You can also make beans with a tablespoon of olive oil and get by salt and pepper. Burritos. One of my friends, her father had a Mexican restaurant right on the border, I think it was Tecate and the U.S. And there was a train station, and the main thing he sold were burritos. Those are like a big meal. You know, you can put meat, you can put beans, you can put beans and meat, you can put beans and rice. Stir fries. Okay, the thing about stir fries is really, you have stockpiled rice, and just remember, you can fry it with Spam, with eggs, with ham, and with vegetables, whatever you have, chopped up in small pieces, and seasoned with salt, pepper, and sugar. Stir fries. Cereal and milk. Usually, like a long time ago, like my grandfather would have oatmeal with a small amount of butter and salt and pepper because they had a dairy. But generally, like when I eat cereal, it's cereal and milk. And then stockpile jam and dry fruit. Then, you know, this thing of running out of bread, fruit, and vegetables, if you have jam and dried fruit, then you can throw a little bit of raisins in your oatmeal and you can get by. You're not going to starve. That's the whole idea. Start buying your food really cheap and marked down, and stuff that stores. And like I'm seeing this, buy this freeze-dried food that's good for 30 years. You know, beans, yeah, but, you know, you need beans, rice, and vegetables. But anyway, so fruit and dry fruit, jam and dry fruit, peanut butter, honey, and jam. So if you have peanut butter and honey, or peanut butter and jam, and you have some bread or some crackers, you know, that'll help you survive. And you can use your honey like sugar. green beans with bacon and cornbread. So I stockpile these big cans of green beans, and what I do is I just dump them in the pan and I have bacon ends in my freezer, and I chop those up and I cook them on low for a long time, just like regular beans, salt and pepper and cornbread. That'll get you by. Hot dogs and bologna. Those will get you by. Okay, last night when I made the eggs and the fried sausage, those could be hot dogs. You just slice them in half, fry them on both sides, and make some scrambled eggs and have some toast. I'm going to be posting these easy meals. A lot of people have never been poor, have never been jobless. I think about all the people laid off on Kroger and Best Buy. I mean, when in past times has it ever been said, okay, you just don't have a job, get out. Oh, don't worry, you can collect unemployment. Okay, top ramen with egg, hot sauce, and lime. It sounds horrible, but it is good. Another way I make it is I make my top ramen like stir fry, and I mix 1 egg with a tablespoon of water, and then I mix it like egg drop soup, and I put some small vegetables in there with some soy sauce. That's good too. Egg salad or tuna salad, like a big bowl, and then, let me give you a shot of the list. My notebook is getting wrecked, but that's okay. Okay, number 15. Pancakes, French toast, biscuits, flatbreads, cornbread, and crackers. This is so you won't run out of bread. I made pancakes with my biscuit mix, and all I did was I just added milk and eggs, and those are good. You can make them from scratch, but what I like is I get the biscuit and pancake in the Ziploc bags. They come like that, so there's no contamination. Nothing's gonna go wrong. No glass jars, because it's earthquake season. Earthquakes out here. Crackers, cornbread. Okay, so now 16, macaroni. This doesn't sound good, but this is why you want to stockpile the big cans of tomatoes, and I can't find the whole ones for $1 like I used to. Canned tomatoes, salt, pepper, and sugar. So that's all it is. And you just, you cook your macaroni, and you remove the water, and you pour the tomatoes. I usually use stewed tomatoes, salt, pepper, and sugar. Okay, 17, lentils and barley. Why lentils and barley are good is you can just put like a 1/4 cup, and it's really going to expand your food. 18, potatoes, beans, rice, and split peas. I don't want my followers starving. 19, canned food, all kinds. Why me, Lord? It's always like if there's a big canned food. 20, milk, as much as you can afford. Evaporated milk, shelf-stable milk, powdered milk, and then shortening. If you run out of shortening and fat, you will starve. Like beans with no fat at all? No. I mentioned to you guys that I was working, and so what I did was over the last 2 years, I bought a lot of stuff to sell, and I thought I'll wait until the time is right. I don't want to disperse with my stuff. What if in the future I really need the money? And I thought, I think this is the time. The way I used to survive when I was younger is I worked all the time. So last night I posted $1,000 worth of junk. I'm starting an online thrift store on my eBay, and every day I will post $1,000 worth of stuff. So what it is it's volumes of stuff. That's why I look tired and haggard, but that's okay. I don't want to starve. So if you don't have that much stuff, you've got to start where you are, look around. Do I have any junk I could sell? I'm glad I bought this sweater for $4. You get what you pay for, but it's doing the trick. So that's what I was doing when I was working. And I have a lot of stuff, and it's a good way to unload the stuff. And then another thing is, a lot of people, you know, they go, I make $6,000 a month. And I thought, yeah, and how much stuff do you have to post to make that much stuff? Thousands and thousands of dollars worth of stuff. But if you do the auction, you don't have to pay for a store. So when I was a stylist, I prevailed, and I would keep my overhead as close to zero as I possibly could. But when I work commission, I would always have to pay like 50%, or I tried not to. In your better shops, it's only 20%. But anyway, that's what I'm doing when I'm going back to work. And then I'm getting the stuff ready. Not yet on the swap meet because of the COVID. So I want to encourage you guys, come up with ways to earn extra money where you're self-employed. So no one can say you're out of a job, you know, so you're not that person, you know, dumpster diving, although it is a good strategy if you really don't have food and you need money. And then the other thing is to continuously save a little food and you know, guard your car with your life. If you don't have a car, get a car. It could really save your life and keep your car full of gas. Okay, you guys, please like, comment, and subscribe, and God bless you all.